Hey y'all, today I am presenting my new series called Books and Looks, part 1. Alright, so I am an avid reader, always have been. Books saved my life, y'all. So I decided to start a series where I do book reviews. So if you're a baddie who likes to read books, or if you're just a nerd, bookworm, whatever the case is, go ahead and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate the support. All right, now to get started with book number 1. I'm so excited, y'all. This is an oldie but a goodie. It is called Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsh. Goodness, that was a mouthful. It is a good read, y'all. I promise you, this book, when I think about it, it just makes my heart smile, honestly. Now, what I love about Conversations with God is that it really opened my mind to the endless possibilities of who God is as an individual, right? Because growing up, you have like that traditional perspective, like, God as a sky daddy, basically, who's an authoritarian, and, he's just banishing everybody to hell. You going to hell, you going to hell, you going to hell, you're not living right, you can't stand all that, right? And so you have like that fear around, living your life right, having all that pressure. But this book really like changes the game. So some of my favorite cousins recommended this book to me, and at the time I was deep in the streets of my spiritual journey, y'all. So I was pretty like opposed to any form of religion. I kind of had an aversion toward religion at that point, tell y'all the truth. And just the approach that the author took, because you can't really tell whether it's fiction or nonfiction, the way that he framed it, which is so fun. But this book really was refreshing. And at the time, it really like opened my mind to and opened my desire to having an actual relationship with God. I would read this book to my husband as we would go for walks, right? So cute, so cute. But I'm from the West Coast, right? The best coast. And he's from the South, so my mind frame, is more like liberal, a bit more free spirited, and he's more traditional and conservative, right? So even with that, we both really enjoyed this book. I promise y'all, this is a really good read. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. It's also a very easy read. If you look at her, she's slim thick. You know what I mean? Little Mama is only like 200 pages or so. It's a very easy read. Again, the author's writing style just makes it very digestible. It's not too much. I would read, let me see. Let me find a sentence in here. Oh, okay. So, but why am I so ready to always choose the negative and then to spank myself for it? What can you expect? You were told from your earliest days that you're bad. You accept that you were born in sin. Feel guilty is a learned response, okay? See, even right there, just from that one excerpt, it's already attacking and addressing like that traditional indoctrination that we have, and like that shame and that guilt of just being, a human stuck in sin, basically. Another thing is the book, I can understand how it would be viewed as controversial, especially if you're coming from a religious background, if you have the religious approach, particularly Christianity, right? Because some of the concepts kind of contradict traditional perspectives, but I do still recommend this book to you. Just, I would suggest you take it with a grain of salt, basically, and just read it with an open mind. And if you need to just categorize it as a fiction book in your mind, just tell yourself this is just a story that I'm reading, right? And just see what you can take away from it. I also recommend it if you're on a spiritual journey like I was, because like I said, it really motivated me to want to be closer to God. And since then, building that relationship with God has just elevated my entire life, honestly, y'all. I should also add that this is book number 1. I think there's 3 of them in total. I read number 2, I believe, but nothing about it is really like coming to the forefront of my mind. So I would conclude that it's not really much, right? But this one I highly recommend. 10 out of 10, y'all. And yeah, I suggest it if you're religious, if you're not religious. I would primarily suggest it to like young teens, young adults. I think that would be a good time to just be introduced to this sort of perspective. So yeah, y'all, thank you so much for your time. If y'all have any book recommendations or if you have any thoughts about this, please just drop a comment below. I would greatly appreciate it. My name is Shay Shay, and I will be back. Stay tuned.